Hi everyone, my name is María Renée, and I want to continue talking about the subject I choose, which is psychology. So let's begin. Okay, so in this opportunity, I want to focus on Skinner because we are going to be talking about the behaviorism. And it is Skinner, the one who created or focused a lot about learning and our behavior. So he is kind of the opposite from uh, Freud, because Freud talked and believed about the unconscious mind, but Skinner, he hardly believed that everything comes from outside of us, from the environment. So yeah, let's get started. First, I want to talk about the three main foundations of the behaviorisms. The first one is that all the scientists and people that support this theory, which is behaviorism, believe that everything that we are and we know, it is a result from experience. So they highlight or stress so much about the learning process because this is how we get everything in us. Um, Remember that I was saying that he's kind of very, very different or kind of completely different of a Freud. And yeah, it is because Freud believed that we have something like inside of us, our unconscious mind, and from that we got everything that we are. But from the behaviorism perspective, this is the contrary because everything that we have, we got it from the outside because we learn it. So that's why they are like mentalisms, sorry, because they believe that everything that was around us um or is around us constitutes what we are. So they don't believe that our mind uh, could have like a power or something like that. So yeah, they don't believe that. And knowing that, um, or in the same line, they believe that they there aren't differences between animals and humans. So they experimented a lot in animals and they watched their responses. So due to that, they like take all the results and like put it into the human behavior. So I'm going to be talking of kind of an experiment of a dog that they associated with us. So yeah, let's move on. Okay, so and as I was saying at the beginning, they stress a lot about the learning process. So there, here we have like learning principles. The first one is the habituation, which we can easily like notice it in babies. When babies are like staring at something or looking like so much into an object, and they are like getting to know that object or like discovering like the world that is like around them. So when they stop responding to that object, when they like stop looking at that object, that happens due to getting used to it. So they already know how this object is, so they don't feel like the necessity to continue watching it. And for the behaviorism, that's how, sorry, we learn, we get knowledge, this is like the primary way we have it. And also they make experiments with animals. Okay, the second one is the classical conditioning. This is a very, very famous experiment from Pavlov. He's a Russian psychologist. He experimented with dogs, and basically his experiment was about stimulus responses and how they make relationships with other um, responses. So They believe that another association develops when a stimulus get associated with another one. So yeah, his experiment was about a dog, and he like present to the dog the food, and at the same time he presented a bell. So every time in the future that the dog hear the bell, the dog is going to like expect food. And nowadays, this is a very like important topic to know about because it is used on like modern therapy nowadays, which is a systematic desensitization. Sorry, which is about or yeah, psychologists use it to treat phobias and fears. So when they get used to the things they feel afraid of, they will like gradually get rid of that fear. So yeah, this is the classical conditioning. And the third one, which is about Skinner like um, contribution, it is the operant conditioning that it is also called the instrumental conditioning. This is all about relationships between what we do and how we do it. And as a result of that, or depending on that, um, this is how successful or unsuccessful we can be. So I think that is different from the classical conditioning is that this is voluntary. We choose in this conditioning, we make something to make something happen. And if we like reinforce that answer, our mind will understand that we have to continue doing that thing. So yeah, that is why it's all about relationships, and depending on that relationships, um, the task will be successful or unsuccessful. So yeah, this is why I wrote this phrase that says the one we reinforce survive. Because if we let's take a mom that she's right raising his child, let's take a baby. So if she wants that baby to grab her something and yeah, grab from the ground, something like that, she might reinforce every response that is close to the final result. That this final result could be like, yeah, grabbing the thing and putting into the correct place. So this is how shaping by rewards is all about, because you have to, well, the mom in this case has to like reinforce every response or behavior. That's why it is the behaviorisms um, by a rewarding. So basically, this is the behaviorisms. And while I was hearing the lecture, I was able to like localize a few like structures and words that we were learning in class. And yeah, the first one is this one about vocabulary, which says rod sticking up from the top of its head with a lure to capture. The word lure was about our vocabulary. And the second one is that are familiar due to repeated exposure. This is a preposition, due to. The present perfect is more speculatively. Classical conditioning has been argued to be implicated in the formation of sexual desire. And the last ones are the cleft clauses. It is as close as you could find in science to a solitary. The second one is the vocabulary. Otherwise, what's the word? Good dog is not going to cut it anymore. And the last one I found is perfect infinitive. Your eyes happen to fall upon an object. So yeah, I really enjoyed the lecture, and I'm afraid this is all I have time for. I just want to thank you all for listening and hope to see you next time. So bye.